Right then peeps, back as promised with an update on Orca. Now this video is a little bit higgledy-piggledy. There's a couple of bits I'm going to show you which I recorded over the weekend as I stripped the outside bits of the case down, so we got down to the bare chassis. But today is the 16th and it's technically the 5-year anniversary since I basically lost my mum. And there's no sympathy needed or anything like that. I'm taking this as a kick up my bum that this project really needs to move on. So I've done loads today, which I'll share with you in a minute. But what we'll do is I'll show you now what I did over the weekend as I stripped the case down and basically took all the outside and all the gubbins away. So we've just got left with a bare kind of straight normal chassis. And I'll show you that and then we'll come back and I'll talk you through what I've already done today. Right then peeps, it's been a while since I've used the just the camera with the normal microphone, but I just wanted to give you a quick update because I have started the strip down of Orca. I just wanted to give you a quick kind of look over. We've got all the bits of the case all here. Literally I've taken everything off apart from the handle because this needs de-riveting, but that's going to be coming off. Everything else I've stripped out, all the grommets, all the screws, everything. Anything I have left in is this bar, which will be coming out afterwards. But when I take the floor off, this is going to help give me a little bit of support because I need to take all the screws off for the floor. I say screws, they're rivets. I need to drill all of the rivets out, take this floor section off, put the false floor in, which is that sheet of alley which I've showed you previously, put it back on, mark up all the screw rivet holes that I need to drill on it, drill the plate, fit it back on and then rivet it all back on again so that the floor will be a part of the case and you won't be able to see it. Now I also need to get white carbon for it because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the carbon on the top side, which will go over the bare alley. In fact, I'll just go and grab the metal quick and I'll show you. Sod's Law, the big bit, isn't coated. It's the other bits that I've got white on the back. So what I'm going to have to do, I'll end up covering both sides with carbon. I'm not really that fussed about it. Normally you have one side that's white and then one side that's bare. That's what I asked for. I hadn't realised until this point. But anyway, we'll get the floor busted off. It'll get squeezed in on the other side and then we'll get it covered in carbon. I have still got a bit of carbon left from the Nürburgring, so I'll see if I can get away with using what I've got left on this. If I can't, then I will be straight on eBay because that's just where I get it from. Just go on eBay, find the cheapest place. I think, believe it or not, I ordered it from Poland last time, but anyway, that was the cheapest place I could find it and it was original Dynoc. But we'll get that done. So we'll imagine this bit's done. Next thing to do after that, obviously remove that black bar, but then I need to take all these metal tabs off here so that I can fit the other false plate in. I'm going to leave fitting that false plate till pretty much the last minute so that I'll still have access to be able to get everything sat in where I want it, because obviously we've got the radiator and everything going in the front. The other thing that I do need to do during the mock-up actually is work out where I'm going to be fitting the reservoir with the stand, and I need to drill the reservoir really in while it's out because it'll be easier to work with. I could do it with it in there, but it'll be easier to get in there and kind of manoeuvre with the drill and everything, you know what I mean, if I do it separately. But then the other thing that we need to do, which we've done previously with the other Trooper rather than the Striker, is get rid of this handle. Obviously I just end up cutting it off there and there because I don't want there to actually be able to use the handle. It's just for aesthetics for me. I'm not a handle case person, but it's part of the design, so I'll leave that there. The other thing I need to do is obviously make the cut for the third fan so we can get a triple radiator in the roof, and then also mod the rooftop because all of this material on both sides will get removed. The white hexagon pieces that you can see there in the plastic, I need to take the mesh off and cut the white hexagon mesh out from the case as well. I need to do that. I've still not 100% decided what I'm doing about this button yet either, because I'm probably not going to be using the fan controller, and I don't know whether I'm going to leave it all in there or whether I'll just make a new blanking plate, maybe put 2 switches in there, or maybe even just have it as mesh. I've really not made my mind up yet. The only thing is I did really want to keep the USB and USB 2s on the front, so it may mean I have to keep that. It's down here. I may see if I can get someone to change the SMDs for me. Is it going to focus? Anyway, change the LEDs and the SMDs to white. If I can do that, then I might keep the switch. But we will see. I'm going to try and bust this out, or get a fair bit of this done over the next week, because it's the anniversary week, so I feel like I should be doing it. And to be fair, once the case is done, the build will be relatively quick, because the board's already built up. It's got all the heat sinks and everything on it, although I do need to put the 3960X in it, not the 3930K. But essentially it's just a case of putting it together, and beyond that everything else is here. So generally it's time for me to get my back end in gear and start to get everything done. But right, that's it for this bit now. I need to now go and try and find Dynoc. Now I've realised that the bottom of that's not white, because I'm not sure whether I've got enough to do both sides. And I don't. Where it's aluminium, people are going to be telling me to spray paint it. Where it's ali, you need to etch prime it first, then normal prime it, and then put your gloss over. If you're going to do it properly, you cannot spray straight over normal etch prime, because you can get a reaction, because it's acid etch, and the acid will affect the top coat paint. It can look like little bubbles. Anyway, and before anyone says about using the all-in-one etch and normal primer, I don't rate that stuff. I prefer to do a light coating of normal etch if I was going to do it, and then do plenty of normal coats of normal primer over the top. It also then gives you a better build up with the paint, and it's an easier kind of like surface to then work on. But right, I need to shush. I really need to start to get my head in gear, and yeah, time to see if I can find the leftover Dynoc. Right, so you've seen that bit. Obviously the camera was a bit shaky because I had it in my hand. It was kind of the old school way of doing things. I'm obviously using the microphone again now. But today I've pretty much stripped the rest of the case. This is all it here. All of the rivets and everything are out, and I've done all of the cutting that I need to do to the chassis itself. I may need to put a couple of grommets or a couple of little cable routing holes in at some point. But the bulk part of like the Dremel cutting and all the other stuff has been done. Now plans have changed a little bit, because I was going to hide the radiator in the front, in the drive bays, and then have the reservoir in front. Now if I move all these bits and I find the floor, this is the floor. Okay, now we've got the alley in the bottom, which is going to be the false floor that's going to go in there, and that's just to give it a smooth look, because I don't want any of those holes showing. So when it's set on the desk, you'll just see the nice smooth floor. Now, just to show you how it goes together, this is the other part of the front of the case. So that sits on there like that. But what I've done, this is the other drive bay, which is now going to sit in the front like that. So we've got a massively open front. So to show you the amount of material that I've removed, if I put these up against each other, you can see that there is a lot missing. Now this side of the drive bay, it'll all go back in. This is still part of this is the front of the case where everything clips in. I've still got like the rivet to go at the top. And the reason why, if you have a look, that's the front part, but I've left the corner on as well. You can see that you've got the edge there. Now by leaving that corner on, gives this, it still flexes a little bit, but it gives it a lot more structure. If I'd have cut that corner off so it was just a flat edge, it would have wobbled a lot more. And when this is all bolted back into the case, it will actually, that corner will help keep the case nice and steady. Now this isn't really something that you can learn at like a case modding school. This is just the type of thing that you pick up where I've got kind of an engineering background, and I've chosen the best bits of the case to, like I said, be able to give that front some structure still. But where we've removed all that side panel, essentially what that'll mean is when at the front of the case again, when the radiator is there with the reservoir in front, it will all be open. You'll be able to see the reservoir and the rad through the side grille, which at this moment in time, that side panel where the grill is, I think I'm going to turn that into a window now, so just a normal acrylic window, and I'll have to cut it all out and I'll have to do all that. Now you may be wondering why I went to the extreme of literally flat packing the case. I've taken every single one of the rivets out of the entire case. Well, I got thinking when I was in there, when I was taking it apart, about the black rivets, and I quite like the white and the black rivet type of thing. And with my projects, it's a lot of the things that I end up doing are little things, but then all the little things kind of add up to a bigger mod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace all the rivets with Allen bolts and then cap-headed nuts. And the cap-headed nuts are the ones with like a dome on the top of them. Now, this is how kind of picky and anal we've got. You can get what are called self-coloured cap-headed nuts, and they're like a high tensile steel, but they will rust eventually. And I didn't really want that. So I've been searching around online and I found a company that do this special coating on the stainless steel nuts so that they'll never rust, but they've also got quite a shiny black finish to them as well. So I'm getting some of those and I'm getting some of the black-headed nuts, cap-headed nuts as well. Now, to put it into context, just the nuts and the bolts, I mean, I'm going to order 40. I should really have counted how many I need, but I'm going to order 40. Hopefully that'll be enough to put the case back together. But the nuts alone are £1 each, and the bolts are even more. So I know it's essentially where I'm quite lucky, and I do get this stuff sent for review, and you know, a lot of it is like this case is the original review sample that Cooler Master sent me. Obviously a lot of it does get left around, so I'm quite lucky. So rather than just kind of chucking it together quick, when it comes to something like the nuts and the bolts, I don't really think about worrying about paying the extra money for the nuts and bolts, because I've been lucky because I didn't have to pay for the case in the first place. Obviously with you guys it's a bit different, and if you want to go to these extra levels you do have to spend a fair bit of money on it. But we're going to do that. The side, I've left this because I still need to do some cutting on this. This is one of the things I wanted to show. There's like a ledge on the optical bay here. I'm going to have to cut around this. I'm going to take all these edges off of the tops here, and then I have got 2 flat plates, and they were meant to go on the outside of the drive bays, either side. But obviously where we've not got the other one now, I'm just going to sandwich this one so it will just look like a completely flat bit of material. I'm going to coat it in white dye-knot carbon fibre. That's on its way. I've ordered all of that. I'm just waiting to hear back on about the nuts and the bolts, because it's a 7 to 10 day turnaround, because they do the nuts and bolts to order. So I'm just waiting to find out about getting those sorted and ordered. So yes, there's a fair bit going on now. Jobs left to do at the moment is obviously this. I need to get this sorted. Then work out getting the solid state drives mounted in the right place on the side panel so we can see it on the other side. I need to finish all the cuts that I've done. I need to file them and sand them so that they're all quite nice, and then work out whether I'm going to just touch the edges up or whether I'm going to respray the parts all together. The roof is done and modded as I did with the original Trooper. I have done a guide on this, so go and look on the channel if you're interested in putting a 360 in the top of your Trooper. I've already done a guide on this, but you can pretty much see how I've done it there anyway. So that's ready. That obviously just needs cleaning up and touching up again, just a little bit of finishing. And then really putting it back together. I do need to drill the floor as well, so that when the case does go back together, the floor will get held in by a lot of the mounting points that are already on the case. Like the power supply's got a couple of little screw holes there. Well, I'm going to bolt that through anyway. It will just help keep it all nice and tight, and with the bolts that I'll put through against the white Dynoc carbon, it will look quite nice. But I already think that the floor is going to look a million times better, the fact that it's just going to be completely clear. Now, you might be wondering why there's a gap down the outside, but that's where the motherboard tray goes in. So when it's in there, the lines will all line up quite nicely. It should look pretty good. At least that's the plan at the moment. So we've there's a lot happened to the case today, and it was just something that it jumped into my head about wanting to have the bays open, because I've seen a couple of mods where they just don't put the sides in and they leave that bit open, and I thought that was a bit of a cop-out. It's not what I wanted to do with mine. And then when I thought about closing it in, I quite like the fact that you could see stuff. So my head just kind of went into, right, so how can I make this look good mode? So I just ended up removing it altogether. And then obviously, like I said, when it all goes back in, it will be like an open-sided case completely. So we'll have full access to be able to see all of the radiator, the reservoir, everything that's in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's moving along quite swiftly. Now I think I'm going to be waiting for stuff to arrive. Like the nuts and bolts are going to take, they're probably going to take now over a week. So I'd say 10 to 14 days. I think I'm going to end up having to wait just to get those bolts through. So I can't really do much more to the case itself. But once the Dynoc's here, we can get that, start working on the side panel. I do need to do a little bit more cutting on this, as I said previously. I can get the solid state drives kind of ready, although I can't really line the solid state drives up until we've got the case back together. So it's going to be a bit of a mad one, but I'm really glad that I cracked on with this today, because it's actually made me really want to get this done and finished. And it'd be nice to be able to sit beside it and see it done. I haven't made my mind up about the Orca plate that I'm going to do for the front yet. There's loads of people kind of saying about etching and stuff like that, but I want it to be black and white. The plate needs to be white, and then the logo itself needs to be black. So like the etching and stuff, it's not going to tie in with the theme that well. Something else people said is about the red on the board, and maybe I should have used blue, maybe I should have used a black board. I'm just using the board that I've really got access to. And with the Rampage, I've already got the motherboard water blocks, I've got the stuff already, the motherboard water blocks are obviously all there with the coolants block and everything. So it just seemed a bit pointless to get too picky about it when I have got some really, really good kit here. And I can use that red to tie in nicely, because these solid state drives are red anyway. And I think that little bit of red just gives it a bit of a flash. I do understand what people say about the blue would have been better for like the water theme and stuff like that. But yes, in an ideal world, I probably would have liked to have done a little bit more, and Gary, one of the writers on the website, recently painted his board, and a lot of people said about that, why don't you paint the red bits white? And I'd be really worried about the white over the red going pink and it needing loads of layers. Black would be an option, but there's a lot of red on the Rampage, and I'm not too sure whether I really want to go, painting it that much. And I don't think once it's in there, I don't think it's going to be too overpowering anyway. I think it will be a nice bit of colour in there, considering everything else is going to be black and white with the odd bits of chrome in there from the Dominator Platinum and the tops of the water blocks. I don't think that red's going to be too bad at all, but maybe I'll change my mind when we first, actually start putting hardware in there. Maybe I'll think it is a bit too much, and then I'll address that point then. But anyway, that's it. You've had your Orca update. I hope because there's been a real, it's been really nice. In fact, yeah, we'll talk about this, because the people on the Facebook page have been really supportive the last few days, especially where I've been quite openly talking about my feelings and stuff with regards to the time of year and the fact that it's been 5 years. And there's been some really properly nice comments, really nice supportive stuff, and I feel kind of really privileged to have that kind of community stroke following, however you want to put it, but to have those kind of people there, you know, showing their support for me, showing their thoughts and their love for the project, and some really nice stuff about my mum. It's been really good. It's one of those kind of weird times when you don't want to sound too soft, but you know, a heartfelt kind of thank you from me about it as well. And because of all that support and stuff, that's why I kicked in and I was like, I've got to get this done, because you know, a lot of people are being really nice about this and the whole situation. So let's get this project done and try and keep everybody happy. So that's why I've kicked in. I will do my absolute bestest now to try and get this moving along quickly, but as I said, we could end up having some delays. But again, to everyone on Facebook, and even some of the nice messages that I've had on YouTube as well, thank you very much. But I'm going to put the TTL Facebook page link underneath. If you're not already a liker or a follower, then you are missing out, because there's always loads of stuff going up there, and it's quite a personal me and you kind of thing. If you just want to listen to talk about hardware all the time, it's definitely not the page for you. It is like a kind of, very much like I try and make my videos, it's about us being mates and chit-chatting and keeping up to date with each other and stuff like that. It's very much like a community kind of friendship type of thing. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, I think, and get this video rendered for you straight away. But for now at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan with the Orca 5th anniversary update for you. Hopefully I will get this finished quickly. Out.